We all know how important gifting is in an Indian wedding. Earlier, the gifts went out, usually with the wedding invitation. But now, apart from the gifts going out with wedding invitations, there are gifts given for mehendi, sangeet, there's gifts for the guests when they go into their rooms, there's gifts when guests are leaving, and it's just non-stop. So what we'd like to start with is the invitations. It sets the mood for the wedding. People know what to expect. They get all the important information. So Jatin, my first question is to you. Are people really going digital, or are invitations, hand invitations with all the gifting still a big part of what people are asking for?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, yes. So no, the digital invites are definitely very useful when it comes with we can actually send a save the date much earlier, inform all the guests. But the invite, when they go and invite them personally with the invitation, so that actually is give them a lot of joy, and they connect with each other at that stage. So I definitely see that's actually growing up. We saw at the time of COVID, it was kind of blank. But now we are seeing from past 1 year, people have really raised their budgets. They want to add a lot of different things into the invite. Like all crazy. One client actually last year contacted us from Malaysia. He wants 18 gifts. Each one is different. One iPhone, one wine from Australia. Each one box with a special note to his auntie, to his friends. It's changing. I mean, it's a fabulous space currently. Yeah.
Can I add to this? Okay. So I think the question I would like to change. Why should we say or? I think it should be and. So it should be e-gifts and physical cards. So I think the physical card really communicate touch and feel of the product, and the whole pride of going to somebody's house and giving invitation and make them feel special, and let e-card be a reminder medium. At the same time, as all industry experts are here, we should not use or, we should always use and, so that how can we get client to do both of them?
Let me just quickly add to that. So what we're seeing is a mix of both digital and print, right? When we have couples that are involved in the planning and the discussions with us, they tend to come to us saying, we want to see everything digital. Let's start with save the dates. Let's start with wardrobe planners. All of that should be easily accessible on everyone's, mobile phones, right? But then you also have, traditional bigger families. You have, parents involved, and they want to see print. They want to see, a luxurious feeling piece of paper. They want to see multiple, invitations going out. They want to see good envelopes. They want to see boxes. So, we're seeing a whole gamut of, objects and print items, as well as, digital, obviously, right? But the digital space has obviously grown massively in the last 2 years. I mean, because of COVID, obviously, we continued in India doing big weddings. But everything was digital. People didn't want to mail things out, right? So, and that trend has continued. Initially, it was just wedding invitations, but now, like I said, we have wardrobe planners. We've seen it for, the WVC event as well. Yeah. It's a big thing, and I think that's what's making our industry grow right now.
Well, pre-COVID, we used to see the people who did paper invitations didn't necessarily do the digital. But I imagine now you have to sort of take it from the very start of the save the date all the way to the thank yous.
Yeah, absolutely. So initially we started as a design and print business, right? So we have our in-house designers, but now that we're going digital, we need to hire, animators and, the whole team that understands 3D. It's not something that we were familiar with. We've had to train ourselves. We've had to hire the right kind of professionals. But obviously, I don't think the digital, trend is ever going to stop. So we need to grow that team. In terms of print, we have certain established printers that we work with. We obviously have the same design team that conceptualizes the print, details. But again, at the end of the day, it's about what our clients need. It's what, our planners suggest to us. And we, are the ones who present mood boards and conceptualize the whole thing, right?
So I think there was a lot of reference point of COVID being a pivotal point. I have a little different take at Izhaar. During COVID time, actually, we more than doubled the business because the gifting experience could have taken a different height. During COVID time, when the traditional gifting of invitations, so I think we redefined the gifting in form of various experiences. For me, gifting is not just about sending, like save the date. Digitally, I think we promoted sending different kind of hampers just as an announcement. Why only just tell them save the date? So I'm saying send the physical form. During COVID, we did even so many liquor hampers to go because of the offline party because so many people were not invited. So there were like complete gourmet food hampers, the liquor hampers, the party going digital. So I think the gifting experience really increased and the potential of each customer, because they were calling less number of people, their gifting budget kind of increased from physical events to the actual events. So I would again like to say that over here we should try and increase the volume and the efforts to people to spend more on gifting.
I'm all for that.
Rather than translating their budget to small digital cards, and how can we create experiences and get them to spend more?
Let's also be clear, digital cards are not cheap.
So I'm saying it's not about comparison, it is I'm saying do both. So I'm not again getting into what is cheaper and what is, I'm saying how do you get customer to spend money on both the things?
Very good point, I completely agree.
So I think the important keywords to take away from here is that it's not digital or print, it's together, it's digital and. And what you're saying is that a lot of digital invitations also going out as a form of information, because guests want to know what the wardrobe planner is, so everything it's becoming a lot more detailed and specialized, right?
Correct, absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. No, because the big fat wedding has to go with an invite with a lot of gifts. It cannot be compromised.
Yeah. My next question would be to you, Mr. Anupam. Thank you so much for that lovely hamper that you've placed in our rooms from Izhaar. Nice little goodie boxes. So what do you see as the latest trend now post-COVID? Like you explained, during COVID, there was a lot of gifting and personalization which was happening. What do you see now in the wedding market? What's happening? What's the latest trends?
I'll take away from the earlier comment you said, instead of sending the wardrobe planner, at Izhaar, we would like to send the designer and we will tell them to buy gifting through us. That means your wedding outfit. So I think we need to think big. We don't need to think in a small window. We need to say, how can it converge to us providing services and experiences? How do you get designer and do the wardrobe planning for the whole wedding barat? So I think that's the level I would like people to think and see how we as gifting companies promote such kind of ideas. The second question was in terms of experiences. So for me, it is about the journey from, let's say, save the date to the baby shower. My journey doesn't stop at, I would say, thank you gift. For me, that's the beginning of the journey. And how do you take them along to baby shower and many more occasions, many more festivities? So I see gifting in each and every occasion, each and every month, each and every day. Like at the beginning of the session, I said, I heard something like, Har din shubh hai. So for me, it is something like, how do you create gifting occasions every day so that the experiences are shared, not just on the day of the wedding. It is about how do you celebrate each and every festivity, each and every occasion during the journey of wedding.
Nisha, we absolutely loved the little envelopes, the cream, the gold, everything in the room.
Thank you.
That came from Murphy Studio was beautiful. We found that your designs are very, of what we've seen so far, they're young, they're hip, which seems to be where the young couples are going. But how do you match that vision between the parents and the children who are sort of a lot more involved in the process than they were in the past? the parents for the most part decided what the gifting items would be, what the sort of tone of the invitations would be. But obviously that's not the case anymore. So how do you balance the two?
We usually leave that up to the planners, to be completely honest. But in terms of gifting, what we're seeing is everyone wants personalization, right? And it starts right from your invitations. And what we're trying to do is just carry the theme over from your invites, from your save the dates, to your wedding invitations, to all of the gifts that we're trying to incorporate into the wedding itself. So the box is usually what says the story, right? Because that's the theme of the wedding. The contents within typically vary depending on who the recipients are. And that's the level of personalization that we're attempting to get into. And also, let's be clear, we're making our foray into gifting only as of this year. So it's a very new market for us, right? We've been doing print invitations and wedding stationery for 7.5 years. And we've obviously done digital for the past 2 or 3 years now. So in terms of trying to strike a balance between the traditional family members versus the friends of the couples that want to receive gifts, the idea is that we need to cater to both audience. We cannot have the same gift go out to everyone, right? So we're starting with things like, here's a questionnaire. Tell us what is the age range of the people that are attending, what are their interests, what is the location of the wedding? Because, if you're doing a destination wedding, you don't want to give them massive boxes that they're going to end up, leaving behind, right? You want to end up giving them a box because we specialize in that. We want to make sure that, it works, but try and do like a minimal frame that can be, opened up, left in the suitcase, people pack things into it. Things within it may be, similar to what you saw, right? Money envelopes and gift tags that can be, used. It's not something that, was just meant to be for the occasion and people toss it in the bin. Sometimes we're also working with couples to do, spa vouchers or experience gifts. So as part of, being at a destination wedding at a resort, you do need, a break. You do need, a spa treat. And maybe that's what you include in, your gift box, right? So you have to kind of cater to both audience. You will continue to see families wanting, your traditional silver and, candle holders and dry fruits and all of that. And that's never going to stop. You do need to do that. But in that instance, we try to do gifts that get delivered to, their homes as opposed to it being, a room hamper, right?
Jatin, you want to add to that about how you manage between the couples, their ideas, and their parents?
Yes, actually we are a design, print, and packaging company. So we actually understand from different gifting, like from sari to we pack for them. So from the saris for the in-laws, everything. We actually up to the, like you say, small rings, silver coins, everything we do packaging for them. So mostly what we see, the current trend is it's leaning towards the friends. The new generation wants to take care of the friends than anyone else. Yeah. So they want to be very, they take care of very personally. I mean, they want to take care of them. And when you take the destination wedding, then the whole numbers are pretty limited. So then they are very, very specific. They have a personal, as I said, personal note, and that's picking up now. So we have to, we need to strike a balance, but we're still figuring it out. Yeah.
That's nice. So, Anupamji, I wanted to ask you this question that we saw before COVID, I remember we used to make, since the conversation is about friends and parents and how to manage the two generations, we used to have a handful of hangover kits just for the friends, right? But during COVID, we realized how liquor is sending the revenues up there, So, and after that, the hangover kits became a mainstream thing for gifting. Like, it's not just 15 or 20 for just the friend circle, but for everybody. Do you see that trend? Do you see something different now happening?
At Izhaar, we believe that each and every person is very, very important, whether it is youngsters or old people. I think making ourselves very universal is most important, so that we have offering for, from any material to any concept. And I think we need to curate something which is very useful, sustainable. I have seen a mixed trend whereby a lot of younger generation is also asking for a lot of traditional things because, we are going back to the roots. And it is about how it is getting resonated and how the gift creates memory throughout. And I think I agree to the fact that we don't want to make a gift in a form that it is not used later on. I think how we add usability and make it part of the home lifestyle, that is Izhaar's mantra, that the gift has to become part of lifestyle, and that gift should keep on creating memories for years to come rather than that for occasion. So for us, we are very cautious about the fact we don't put even the wedding logo on the gift so that people use, because if you give something which is having logo, people will not use it. We are very cautious what kind of mithai or savory or dry fruit. We ensure it's a commitment to ourselves that it will not be thrown. It will be something which will be possessed by people. So I think a lot of that thought process, we think all gifts are made for us. If it will come to our house, how people would use it, how people will make sure that they like to use it. So we like to bring a lot of traditions, a lot of heritage, a lot of story, a lot of culture behind it so that people see the usability into, one of the very latest concept we did, it was most of the people were going for invitations during the tea time. And we created a gift in form of a tea hamper so that people use the tray as it is every time whenever they were sitting on chai. And it was like a nice gupshup. And everybody almost came. We sold almost 30,000 pieces of the tea hampers during last 6 months. And everybody said, this has been so useful for us that whenever I'm having tea, your tea tray is completely perfect for us. So I think we like to create concepts which become talk of the town. It is about not really boxing it, but unboxing it. Thinking out of the box is something which we like to promote.
That's nice to hear about how you are making gifting in a way that it's utility and for long-term use.
We all know that, your usual hampers include dry fruits, dry snacks, sometimes photo frames, something silver. Do you guys have something in particular that you'd like to talk to us about that you did that was truly different, truly out of the box? Sometimes couples or families will push you to think beyond these things. And do you have anything in particular to share with us of gifting you've done that's really out there and, worth talking about?
You're asking me a question and I can spend the whole day in talking about different kind of gifting. So idea is to always curate something new. Some of the unique things which I will speak about, like I spoke about the tea hamper. We did somebody's baby announcement, actually, which was for a very well-known family, and we actually did 2 Jaipuri quilts. Jaipuri quilt going for a baby announcement was something very, very unique. But it was perceived very well. And it was perceived very well because it was very usable. The print was absolutely unique, and people would not have a quilt of that print and the quality which was so unique. Recently, we curated a unique chessboard for IFA, and we were talking about the amalgamation of 2 nations. So we actually replaced, on one side the IFA trophy and the other side the Sheikh, representing how India and Abu Dhabi are getting connected together in a form of a chessboard. So thinking of something unique so that it becomes like almost like a showpiece in everybody's house. It becomes a keepsake product to memorize the event. I will give chance to others to speak because I can keep on talking about unique ideas we keep on creating.
So you're actually a pioneer of the gifting industry. I think you have made some of the most unique gifts.
We really have some fantastic collections.
Please carry on.
So I think I sort of answered this already with your previous question. I think one of the most unique ones that we're working on currently is the spa experiences that we're trying to provide, right? So it's a 3-day destination wedding, and instead of building out boxes for room hampers, we're trying to do spa experiences. Again, we're trying to curate that along with the planner and the hotel itself. So for us, again, noobs, but we're trying to make it special, make it more, tailored to each of the, guests staying at the resort itself. Exactly.
There's a spa outside today, I think I noticed that.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can try that before we leave.
So we are getting hints that we need to quickly wrap a few questions here. So yeah, so I think one of the other important questions that we wanted to ask you is that there's a lot of concern regarding sometimes, packaging. How much can you package? The paper, the ribbons, everything, the material that goes into packaging. It's ultimately, nobody's keeping them. It's it's considered as wastage. How do you address that issue? How do you, handle that part?
Can I start with this one? Okay. So I think it's a very important point, and I spoke about sustainability. We are working on packaging that can be used as a decor item in your house. Say, for example, we would put a flower bucket, and I'm saying, remove that from our gift and put it in your, let's say, a loo, which can be a fragrant, and it is almost like a diffuser. It is like a fragrant flower. So we try and use all our decorations wherever possible so that people can reuse them into a utility product at their house. So sometimes we use incense sticks. So use products which can be used as decor. At the same time, when people take it out, they use it in their house for their utility.
So the utility, sustainability, we're coming back to these two words again and again, and I think this should be the mantra for for our events or for gifting as well. I think that's nice to hear, that making gifting more utility-based and sustainable.
Absolutely.
Is there anybody who has a question that they want to ask? We have just time for one question, right, from the audience?
We can take one question. Are there any questions in the audience? Please raise your hand. The mic will reach you. I believe not. I think they will be waiting for all of you to join them. So thank you so much.
She would like to play a video if it's possible.
Pardon me? Is it already listed there? Is it already online yet? You can ask console to play.
Are we able to play the videos that were posted?
Is the console aware about it?
All right, I think we're okay to wrap it up.
All right, thank you so much to all the
you, everyone.
panelists and the moderators for wonderfully moderating it. We request you to kindly stay back on stage and join us in the center for a group photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, gifts. It is so difficult to think about the gifts for people who have it all, but still we want to make them feel special. Those are the magic